Hi everyone, welcome to the Thursday Night Live. Let me check I'm in the right place and going live. Hope you're all well. Let me just get everything set up for you. Yes, live in the group now. So let's see who's going to join and get some comments going. If you do, I will keep an eye on the comments and see what's coming through. And if anybody does join, say hello, say where you're joining from. I know we've got some new people in the group, so please say hi. Someone has come on. Hi Val, how you doing? I'll keep looking down on my phone and see who's on. So I wanted to do a Thursday night live, one because we've not done one for ages, and I know I post loads of videos, but sometimes it's good to chat live, ask questions, and all those good things. So please use the comments, pop anything in. If you've been waiting to ask me something, pop that in as well. And tonight I wanted to talk to you about. I did a small video. I'm sure I posted it in here, but I did a small video the other day, and it was around the concept of you are born to thrive. Like that is what life is about. Now, I know we make it super, super hard, and often we think that life has got to be hard and we've got to do all these things that, make us feel like we're doing this good work. But actually, you are born to thrive. That is what you're here for. You're not here to make things difficult. You're not here to have a tough life, even though many of us have. But actually, we're born to have fun and we're born to be abundant and we're born to just have a lot of good energy in our life. But the way that we get ourselves tripped up and the way that we often end up with things that we don't particularly want in this life is we don't understand this one simple rule of the universe, which I'm going to talk about tonight, so that you can know how to use it, you can know how to focus it, and you can literally change everything with this concept. But I will be diving into that. I will be diving into the 3-day challenge that I have coming up next week. Now, that's not going to be live in this Facebook group. There is a link, and I'm going to be on Zoom. So you can physically talk to me, you can physically chat to me, and do all those good things. So if you haven't joined up to the Quantum Success Activation, make sure you have. Val, I know you've got your place, which I can't wait. So I'll quickly explain that, and then I'm going to go into this concept that the universe really does want you to understand so that you can have the best life. Now, next week in the 3-day activation, what's going to happen is I will teach for 3 days live. So I will teach 8 p.m. UK time, and I'll be on for about an hour to an hour and a half, where we're going to be diving into the concept of how you literally change everything in your life for the better. So those big dreams that you have been craving, that you just want to live, that is what we're going to be calling in next week. We're really going to be stepping into that energy. You're going to be stepping into the energy of how you call that in, what you need to do, and really engage in the energetics around making this change so that you can start to see things in your external reality reflect what you really desire inside. So that is going to be, I'm going to be showing you how to quantum leap, not just manifest, quantum leap, which is literally speeding everything up, stepping into a whole new timeline, a whole new way of being, and allowing that to come into your life. So if anybody wants to join that, come and join. Get the link. It's at www.soulfulbadass.uk, and I will be sharing everything with you on them 3 days. But for tonight, let's dive into what this concept is, where you literally can thrive in your life and why that maybe hasn't been happening. So what tends to happen is when we have a natural negative bias in our minds often. And what that tends to do is make us focus on sometimes the negative in a situation. We have a natural bias from times when we were hunter-gatherers, when we were out in the wilderness, and your brain wanted to keep you safe. Your brain wanted to keep you in a place where you were hyper-vigilant enough to navigate anything that was going to come and ultimately eat you. That is what happens. So you have this negative bias in your mind that goes, oh, that rustle in the tree, that could be something life threatening. And that was an amazing technique for us to, one, be here today, and two, be able to utilize our skills for hunting in a safe way when we were in that space. But now that our brain hasn't really adapted since that point. So that is still part of our makeup. That is still part of the way that your neural pathways work at the moment. And you can change them, but you will have this negative bias that, one, people around you will have had, people around you will have taught you, you'll have heard people, you'll have those people who just, they tell you that everything's not going to be as good as you hope, and those types of things. So we're really surrounded by this energy from a young age, and that's because people haven't really learned to bypass and retrain the neural pathways in order to make things sound better. Because the big thing that you do when you do that is you start to play with this rule that the universe really does have. Now, this rule in the universe, which really tricks everybody and gets everybody manifesting the things that they don't want, is the action that the universe does not understand negatives. So the way that energy works and the way that energy manifests into your life, the way that you create things in your life, is your thoughts, the things you say, generate what comes into your reality, your physical being. But the issue with that is the universe doesn't understand negatives. So you might be saying, I don't want this thing to happen, or I don't want this thing. And what the universe is hearing is, I want that thing. I want this thing to happen, because it doesn't hear the negative. It doesn't understand the negative. So I'll give you an example. If I was going to say to you, do not think of a pink elephant. What are you thinking of now? Don't tell me you're not thinking of a pink elephant, because I bet you are. And that's the same thing with the universe. You can't tell it not to think something. You can't tell it not to manifest something, because what you're generating then is a thought towards the thing that you are saying not to manifest. So imagine this playing out in your life. Imagine all of the things that you think about that you actually don't want to happen. The problems in your relationship that you give energy to, the problems in your bank balance that you focus on, the amount of bills coming through, the problems that you might have in your business. So you might think, oh, people aren't, buying from me, nobody shows up, nobody wants to do this, nobody wants to do that, everybody wants things for free. All of these things that you start to put a negative spin on. And actually the things that you don't want more of it, you don't want to manifest it, you don't want it coming into reality. But where is your focus most of the time? Probably on the negative and the things that you don't want, rather than the things that you actually do want. So this is where you can start to use this rule to really help, one, retrain your brain to change the language, to change the thoughts, to change the way that you're showing up. But that will in turn change your whole reality. So for instance, if you were talking to, sorry, I'm just looking at comments there. If you were talking to one of your children and trying to educate them from a young age, what we tend to do is things like, don't put your feet on the sofa, don't put your feet on the table, don't eat your dinner at the sofa type of energy. We're always, don't do this, rather than telling them and reaffirming the thing that you want them actually to do. So if you don't want them eating their dinner on the sofa, and actually you want them to go and eat on the table, instead of saying, don't eat on the sofa, what you really want to be saying is, eat your tea at the table. So you can really start to reaffirm the positive in them, rather than telling them the thing that they shouldn't be doing. because what they're hearing, because they're in that same experience with children under the age of 7, they're like sponges. They are the same sponges like the universe. They are literally absorbing it and saying, well, that's what I'm being told. So all they're hearing is eat your tea on the sofa. Whereas actually you're not directing them, which is what you should be doing with the universe, directing the thoughts, directing your energy and your focus to what it is you do want. So putting this into practical examples, when you get that bill through the post, what you tend to do is, often we get a bill and we've got the money to pay it. The thing is, you don't want to pay it because it's a bill, and you often then deduct it from the money that you have. So if you get a bill through the post for £500 and you've got £5,000 in your saving, suddenly your mind goes to, well, I'm using my savings and I don't have that £5,000 now. And all of that energy goes to what you don't have. Whereas actually you're like, I've got a bill for £500. I've got the money to pay that. So we're always constantly looking at the lack or looking at the gap between what we have. So what we tend to do is, with that negative bias, we then make it a negative rather than instantly go into the positive of, I've got the money to pay that. Because when it comes to money as well, and as soon as you are putting the negative spin on it, you are shutting down that avenue for more money to come in. So I used to do this all the time. I used to get my paycheck, and then I used to look at my bills that I had to pay for a month, and I would put all that money aside, and that would be in there for the month. And I'd only think, well, that's only going to get topped up next month. I would have this idea of that money was only going to come from there. Whereas actually, money could flow into me any day of the month. Just because I have a job, it doesn't mean it has to be this day, this day, this day. Money can come in any day. But when you are trained to look for it coming one day a month or one day a week, what you're actually doing is shutting off the possibility that it will come in on them other days. So who does that at the moment? Who is literally only looking at the days that they get their paycheck and thinking, that is the day that I get paid. That is the day that I get money. Because money could come to you any other day, in any other form. But as soon as you zone in on that is the way it comes, that is the only way, you are shutting out the possibility of everything else. So you've really got to start to learn to work with the way the universe works, because it is so literal. And where your energy goes, so if your energy is going to a negative, you are literally going into that surviving mode. That is where you are going into survival, hunter-gatherer, literally going back to those days where you are in that surviving mode. Whereas when you start to move it to the positive and focus on the opportunity, focus on the things that you do want, that's when you turn your life into thriving mode. So the way to do this is not to look at your opportunities around you at the moment. The opportunities you can see currently have only been built by what you can see currently. The universe has so much more in store, and it's so vast and so expansive that it could bring any opportunity to you at any moment. But your linear thinking just shuts it down and shuts down the avenues that you're open to receive it. So if you really start to believe that anything could happen, that things could really get exciting at any point, like miracles can come your way, that's the energy that starts to expand your energy, your aura, and allows you to become more magnetic, allows you to start to focus on, well, if anything could happen, what do I want to happen? What do I want to create? And what's that going to look like when I know that I can have anything? If I could have anything and I knew it would work and I knew there was no way I could fail, what would I want? This is where you can start to really play with, what do you want? Because often we've been taught not to ask that. We're told, You know, you can ask for what you want. Good girls don't do that. All of those things. And you can ask for exactly what you want. The whole point of the universe needs to hear, what do you want? Because it will bring you everything you ask for. Everything. The problem is you're often pointing your direction, pointing your wish list to the negative, which is where you don't want to be in that energy. You don't want to be attracting that in. You really want to be in the positive. So you need to be focusing on, what do you want? So Val, I'd love to know what's coming up for you with this. What's like resonating for you with it? And anybody else who's joining or watching the replay, let me know, like, what is coming up? How much are you focusing on the negatives? I know for me, I used to do this all the time, especially in my relationship where things weren't going too well, and I would focus on all the things that I didn't want, all the things he was doing wrong, all the things I didn't want to see. And my mind was just constantly going to it. And all I was doing is projecting, give me more of that, please. Give me more of that, please. Give me more of that, please. And then I wondered why things didn't get any better. Because I was constantly pouring into, this isn't right, and that isn't right, and this is what I don't want, and that's what I don't want. And it literally just fed this energy, this monster of things not getting any better, because it was always getting poured with the negative, and the universe didn't know that that's not what I wanted. It just kept giving me more of the same. So the time everything changed was when I took the external out of the equation and I stopped focusing and even on my husband. Like, I stopped looking at that energy and I just started saying what I did want, about how I wanted a loving relationship, how I wanted, how I wanted to feel, how I wanted to be, how exciting I wanted life to be. And that's what started manifesting, not focusing on all the problems. And we do it with friends as well. We get together and we have the biggest bitch and the biggest moan, and we're like, oh my God, everything's going wrong. Everything's like, this is happening, that's happening. And this is what and everybody does it. Girls do it. But all we're doing is feeding that monster, feeding that energy of those things that we actually don't want. So those girls' nights where you think they're absolutely amazing and they're the best tonic and you can have the best whinge about your partner, yeah, brilliant. But you're kind of manifesting and putting more of that out there. So how good are your girl groups at dreaming as well? Like, do you have those circles that let you dream, that let you go, well, what do I want? Could I have that? Can I be that person? Come and join the Soulful Badass Telegram group as well if you're not in that type of circle, because that's the energy in there. And obviously Magnetic Women, which is exactly for women on the who are thriving. Yeah. Val saying yes, totally resonates, asking for what I don't want. And that's the thing, it is so easy to do and it's natural. So this is where we've got to really start to retrain our brain. So you can tell when you're in that energy of thinking about what you don't want, because what will happen is your energy will go flat. You'll start to feel emotionally drained. You'll start to feel angry. You'll start to feel bored. Val saying sick of feeding the negative energy. Need to ask for what I do want. I do deserve it. Exactly. This is the thing, like, you'll feel flat, you're not going to feel good, and you'll know that you've been asking for what you don't want. So it really is, that is your signal to say, right, that's my mind taking me down this path to a way that I just don't feel good. So at that point, when you start to feel the emotions, when you start to feel that trigger, and you might be used to them as well, you might be used to not feeling good, but we've got to stop normalizing that as well, because that isn't normal. Not feeling good isn't like a normal state. It shouldn't be your go-to. So really, when you feel that energy coming in, that is your point to go, right, what is my next best feeling thought? What can I do to feel better here? And that's when you can just take a pause. So even asking yourself, what is my next best feeling thought? gives you the chance to just realign your thinking, just to pause and go, let's stop that pattern. Let's have a pattern interrupt of what your mind is traveling down. Because you've done it for so long, your mind will go from 0 to 100, from the minor negative to like catastrophe, super, super quick. And you've got to start to break that pattern. So asking yourself midpoint, what is the next best feeling thought, just allows you to stop and then move to a better thought. You might not be at a point to have a really positive one yet, but you can start to move up. So that's the way to do it. And another way to do it, which is amazing, is adopting a gratitude practice. Now, when I first started and everybody was talking about gratitude when I first started manifesting, and I always laugh about, if somebody had told me manifesting, meditating and journaling was going to change my life, I would have laughed at them. But seriously, if you can adopt a gratitude practice, and how to do that is, literally getting a journal or getting a gratitude journal, which, if you don't have the Soulful Badass one, why not? It's available now on Amazon. So if you haven't got a gratitude journal, you literally can have a notepad. And all you need to do is every night before you go to bed or every morning when you get up, just list 3 things that you're grateful for each day. 3 to 5, that's all you need. But as well, when you list them, start to think about why you're grateful for them. You could have had the worst day, you could have had a really bad day. And you can get to the end of the night and you can think, right, what am I grateful for today? And some days it might take you a minute. But the more you start to allow yourself to think about it, you can start to see that there was things in that bad day that really turned it round. And you can start to see that there's always things that you can think of every day to be grateful for. And once you start to get in this practice, what you're telling your mind to do is to look for the positive. So your mind will start to retrain itself to look for the positive. And when you do that, what happens is your mind has this amazing system. Your mind goes and finds proof for what it is that you're thinking about. So have you ever found that when you're suddenly thinking of someone, or you've just been talking about someone, and the next thing you bump into them? That is because your mind goes and finds you the proof. So imagine if you were thinking about lots of money, you would literally be going and bumping into lots of money. So it does do it. You don't even need to put in the hard work. You don't even need to think of how this is all going to come about, because the universe is that amazing. But what you need to do is do the practice to start to change your thoughts, to start to reprogram your mind, so that you can then, become the person that you want to be. Hi, John. And literally, that is how you start to reframe things. So if you haven't started a gratitude practice yet, that is one way to really start moving things forward. And that is the way that, for me, everything started from that. So like I said, when I was manifesting, and I used to dabble, I was a dabbler. I was in the middle of, and I'm going back years now, when I first started doing all this stuff. But I used to literally try and think positive and try and do all these things. And I was in a situation where my external world wasn't that good at that point. So I kept constantly getting brought down to this negative mindset constantly. And I come home from work one day and I thought, right, I need to do something. Something needs to change. I need to get into this big style, because I know I am holding myself back. I know I'm not saying yes to my true potential. I know there is something more. Now, at that point, I started an Instagram page for gratitude, which the intention of that was, it was a public page, but the intention of that was to just literally post on there a picture of things that I was grateful for each day. So I would post a picture, say the things I was grateful for, but for 365 days. And what I wanted to do with that was, one, hold myself accountable. So if it was on Instagram, I was putting it out to the universe, so it was amplifying what I was doing. And as well, it was a way to keep me accountable to keep doing it, because I've said I'm going to do this 1 year challenge. So that was the kickstart for everything for me. That literally reprogrammed my mind. But within a month of opening that Instagram page, everything started changing. Things started changing in my relationship. Things started moving in my work life. Everything started changing super, super quick within a month of doing a gratitude practice. Now, that gratitude page, at the time, I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if people all over the world were looking at this page and doing a gratitude practice? What if it started something? Now, that page ended up being the start of this group that opened 4 years ago, which was a 30-day gratitude challenge, which some of you joined at the time and has now grown and since. And also was the start of, my business at the time, and which has now grown into a whole different ballgame. So do not underestimate the power of starting something like this. Whether you're at the start, whether you've been doing things for a while and now you want to amplify it, do not underestimate how far you can go. If you've got that desire and that dream inside you and you feel like there's something more, don't underestimate it, because there will be something more, and there'll be something more than you could ever possibly imagine. I had a big dream for my life, but the way it's been planning out and the way things have been coming to me, I could not even have wrote. So all I've been doing is literally programming my brain to look at the positive and then putting the action in place to follow what it is that I want. So that was the most important thing that I did, though. I did go back and go, what is it I want? And if you're at that place where you're saying you maybe don't know, or even if you started a business and things and you're at the point where things are plateaued, you might still be at the point where you're like, things are successful, but they're maybe not where they want to be. But what is it you want it to be like? You might be focusing on the thing that it's plateaued, whereas actually, where do you want it to be? And that's what we've got to constantly keep doing. Because your dream that you had 6 months ago might not be the same dream that you've got now, because believe me, it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the dream is the guiding point. It's like your shining light. It's the way that you find yourself in the dark. People think dreams are for like dreamers, and who in this life really gets to live their dream? Plenty of brave people, believe me. I'm 100% living my dream. And I used to hear that, if you find what you're passionate about, you'll never work a day in your life. 100%. That is me. So if you don't know at the moment how to move out of it, I would ask you this question. Have you been honest with yourself about what you want? Because if not, that's the difference between you thriving and you at the moment surviving. And you feel like you're surviving. You might be very successful. You might have a lot of money around you. You might have a comfort, but you might feel like you're only surviving because energy levels, comfort-wise, that thrive that you've got inside of you is a little bit dead, because you feel in that area that you just feel like you should be doing more. So really get clear on what is it you're looking for, what is it you want. If anybody's got any questions on that or anything they want to ask, please, if you're watching the replay, let me know and just pop any questions in. But I'm going to be diving into this so much more within Quantum Success Activation. So if you want to come and hear about that, if you hear more about all of this, then please make sure you join that. What I'm going to be doing is, one, teaching you how to do this quantum leap. So this has really been talking about the reset of manifesting and reset of how you get to that position of where you're really focusing. But what we're going to be activating in Quantum Success Activation is not just where you want to reset. It is the whole realignment to your passions, realignment to your dreams, and actually showing you how to activate getting there. So in the 3-day mini series, we are going to activate your energy. We're going to open up those gateways. We are going to literally expand you into those timelines and show you how to maintain that frequency. So it's not just going to be a little, this is a nice reset. It's going to be opening up, expansive energy for you to step into where it is you're meant to be. So if you're up for that, then make sure you come and join it. And what I'm going to be doing in there is telling you about, obviously, Miraculous Success Academy. There's a chance to join that because that has reopened. And for anybody who doesn't know, Miraculous Success Academy is my mastermind, which was an absolute, like, an amazing opportunity last year. This has now been running for over a year, which is incredible. And Miraculous Success Academy is a chance for you to expand in a way and work with me in a way that's quite unique. So what that is, it's a mastermind where there's other entrepreneurs, other women, other people who are here to thrive and create impact. And we all get together as a group. We have a group community chat as well. So there's that interaction as much as you need. And what you get in there is access to so many of my incredible expansive programs, as well as coaching from me. So that is for the people who are really ready to step up and align and want that momentum and want that drive and want that extra to take their business to that next level. So that's really to adopt energetics as just a way of being into your life and business. So if that's something that you've been looking for, then make sure you come and join Miraculous Success Academy. The doors are closing at the end of July. The intake is starting from August and it runs through to the start of February. So make sure you grab your place. The doors are not going to open on that again until December. So it's one of them. Don't wait. What are you waiting for? And I will be sharing everything in Quantum Success Activation. But if you have any questions at all, let me know. But one thing I would say is start to work on this. Remember, the universe doesn't understand negatives. So let's get rid of the I don't. And the worst one we say for that, which the people in my mastermind will be laughing at this because I call them out on this all the time. The worst thing we can say is I don't know. How many times do we say that? What are your big dreams? I don't know. As soon as you say that, you shut down the possibility of your mind even coming up with the idea. So let's just bin that one from our vocabulary. Like, get that out there and literally, like, get out I don't. Like, we don't need any don'ts. I just said it, but let go of the don'ts. Like, that's what we need to do so that you can start to focus on what it is you do want. Remember, and if you don't know what you want yet, come and join Quantum Success Activation, because when I open up your energy next week, you will be flooded with what you do want. Believe me. I love the things that when we do these activations, when we do these 3-day mini series, it is so incredible to see how people think their dreams are like this big, and then suddenly they're like, no, it's up here. And that's because you're only looking at a fraction of your potential. You are unbelievably limitless. And once you open up to that possibility, everything floods in. So I cannot wait to see what amazing dreams are going to be coming out next week. But make sure you grab your place to come and join, and we'll dive into that more. But have the best night. I'm going to be doing more of these because I have missed them. So if you're not like a frequent member of the group, make sure you come and join them. And I will catch you in Quantum Success Activation. But have the best weekend, and I will speak to you soon. Night, Val. See you soon. Bye.